А у меня из Украины есть кто-нибудь?
Yes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am Anara Tabashaliva, along with co-host Dr. Victor Fet, Dr. Katerina Shrey, and our program producer, Professor Larry Sherey. We host a weekly discussion panel on Russia's war on Ukraine with guests from Ukraine, military experts, medical personnel, academics, artists, literary figures, and relief workers. Our panel is recorded and circulated nationally and internationally. We appreciate your comments and feedback. Special thanks to Marshall University Libraries and MUIT for making this weekly event possible. If you are joining us live on Teams, please feel free to use the chat to post any question for our guests. A quick greetings to our viewers in Ukraine from Dr. Katerina Shrey.
Вітаємо наших слухачів в Україні з глибоким поклоном. Ми далі свідки вашого страшного терпіння і також вашої великої сили. Дякую вам за вашу участь в нашій тижневій програмі.
Thank you, Katerina. Today's guest will be introduced by Dr. Victor Fet.
Thank you, Anara. I am so proud to introduce for our 147th weekly meeting a fantastic book, fascinating book named Rudy and the Milky Way. This is an English translation, which I was honored to make of a book by Hryhorii Falkovych. The author is with us. He is one of the most revered children's poets of Ukraine. This book was voted the best children's Ukrainian book in 2023, beautifully illustrated by Iryna Potapenko and published by Drukarsky Dvir Olega Fedorov, Oleg Fedorov Publishing House in Kyiv. This year, the original in Ukrainian was published by Stary in Lviv. Rudy and the Milky Way is a collection of poems by Hryhorii Falkovych. On the pages of this book, the reader gets to know the dog, Rudy, who is Jack Russell Terrier, and this is the author's real dog in real life. In the very first days of the full-scale war in 2022, this endearing Jack Russell, together with the family of Hryhorii Falkovych and his newborn great-granddaughter, left Kyiv and ended up in western Ukraine, in the town of Kolomyia, from where now the author joins us. As a beloved pet, Rudy experienced the war along with the humans around him. In times of danger, he runs to bomb shelter, cheers for the all-clear signals, supports his fellow refugees, makes friends with local dogs, watches TV, walks with his master streets of the old city, thinks about difficult life problems and dreams of victory. I am honored to give the screen to the author, Hryhorii Falkovych from Kolomyia, Ukraine. Hryhorii, please tell us a few words in Ukrainian. Будь ласка.
Вітаю всіх. Вітаю.
Hello to everyone. Welcome.
Я хотів би висловити подяку і повагу вашому товариству.
I would like to convey my thanks and my respect for this group.
По-перше, за вашу діяльність на користь України, на захист України.
At first, for your activity and activism on behalf of Ukraine, for the benefit of Ukraine.
В Україні знають про вас, цінують вас і пишаються вами.
We in Ukraine know about you, we value you, we're grateful for you.
І по-друге, хотів би подякувати за увагу до книжки про Руді.
And secondly, I would like to thank you for the attention to this book, Rudy.
Подякувати перекладачеві пану Віктору Фету.
To thank the translator, Professor Victor Fet.
Шановним рецензентам.
The cherished reviewers.
І висловити співчуття і глибокий сум з приводу відходу до іншого світу пана Леоніда Рудницького.
Oh, thank you. And to convey my condolences for the going into the next world of Mr. Leonid Rudnitsky. Thank you.
Так що, пані Катерина, прийміть моє співчуття особисто.
Дуже вам дякую. Це була величезна приємність. І я особисто така рада, що його останній проєкт, остання наукова творчісна робота було про це. Я перейду на англійський на хвилинку, як можна. So the poet Hryhorii Falkovych is conveying his condolences for the death of Leonid Rudnitsky. I'm Leonid Rudnitsky's daughter, and I cannot tell you how much it meant to him to be part of this project, a very small part, like reviewing the translation, the excellent translation by Victor Fet. But it was the culmination of a lifetime of supporting Ukraine to be able to participate in a project with Ukraine's premier children's poet here in the United States. Я поясняю, що для мого тата це була найліпша і найвища честь бути частиною, брати участь в цім проєкті з найславнішим українським поетом дитячим в Україні. Ціле своє життя мій тато пробував дати доступ до української літератури тут, до американців і іноземців поза Україною. Я не можу собі уявити ліпший проєкт, ніж це. Його остання робота, останні старання були на цю книжку, і він відійшов дуже задоволена і вдячна особа. Дякую вам. I'm expressing my thanks to the poet. This was the perfect final project for my father to be connected with, and I'm very grateful.
Я дуже зворушений. Я дуже зворушений. І хочу сказати, що переклад, англомовний переклад Руді вже обговорюється в Україні. Була презентація цієї книги в Коломийському педагогічному коледжі.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say that the knowledge about the translation of this book is well known now in Ukraine, and that there was a presentation of the book де то було в Коломийській де.
Педагогічний коледж, він готує також і викладачів англійської мови.
At the Ukrainian Pedagogical University and also among teachers of the English language.
Зараз, на жаль, студентів, хлопців, чоловіків мало.
Unfortunately, right now, there are a few male students.
А в залі сиділо біля 100 чарівних дівчат, які уважно, цікаво сприймали і самі читали англійські переклади Руді.
In the hall, there were hundreds of female students who sat there and read and enjoyed the English translation of Rudy.
Англійський варіант Руді був переданий в подарунок музею Коломийської книги.
The English translation was given as a gift to the museum in Kolomyia.
І факультет англійської мови цього коледжу.
And to the Department of the English Language Studies of this college.
Хочу ще раз подякувати вам, шановні друзі.
I want to thank you again, dear friends, and
Сподіваюсь на плідну співпрацю.
I look forward to our continued cooperation.
Що ви будете продовжувати свою шляхетну роботу.
Encourage you to continue your worthwhile work, your honorable work.
І Україна це оцінює і пам'ятає.
And Ukraine values this and remembers this.
Дякую.
Thank you. Дуже вам дякую.
Дякуємо, пане Григорію. Thank you, пан Григорій. We're so honored, and we will continue right now showing the book and reading it. It's 11 poems, rather short, and we intend to read it for our audience and show all the beautiful pictures thanks to Iryna Potapenko, the well-known illustrator of children books. I will share my screen right now, and we will start the beginning. This is the author and Rudy. The original book in Ukrainian published in 2023. Rudy Chumatsky Shlach. Chumatsky Shlach, by the way, means of the Chumaki were traders, were people who were leading caravans of oxen for salt and other goods to Crimea across Ukraine. It's an old image. Chumatsky Shlach means the road of these ox carts, and this is
Victor?
Milky Way.
Victor, we do not
Yes.
have an image yet. I
Mine
do
just
not anyway.
Mine just came on. We did not have it for a minute, but mine
I
just
still don't. Yeah.
The PowerPoint may be delayed. Right now, do you have it?
I do not.
I see a
Strange.
picture of the cover, Victor.
Yes. So what seems to be a problem?
For me, when I
Let me
clicked
advance.
chat and I clicked it again, the picture appeared. I clicked chat and then clicked out of chat and the photo appeared.
Let me advance right now. Do we see the first frame with the dog?
I do.
did.
I did the same thing. I clicked the chat window, and when I clicked it again, it appeared. So if anyone's not seeing the book, click chat and wait a few seconds, click chat again, and a few seconds later, it will come back. You'll see it. Thank you, Katerina.
I wonder if this matters for recording. I hope not.
It'll
Here
record.
is the Here is the advertisement. As the author said, presentations were done in Ukraine, in Western Ukraine, in Kolomyia, where the author's family lives and reads. On the right, you see the author's great-granddaughter Esther, who actually is featured in the book, and the dog, the protagonist. Here they are in real life. And here is the translation of the Kyiv last summer. It reached United States, and as Dr. Shrey said, was well accepted in the Ukrainian communities. And I will start first poem reading, and then I will pass it to our readers. I'm not reading all by myself. Town of
Victor?
Kolomyia is located. Yes.
The English is not showing up yet on my screen. There we go. That's it. Thank you.
There is a delay. I don't think it will be a problem. Rudy and the town of Kolomyia. Very titles just alert me if we have the frame, the needed page. Town of Kolomyia is the old capital, former part of Austro-Hungarian Empire. It never was even part of Russian Empire. Not go into history. This whole area called Pakutia was an ancient princedom annexed by Austrians first. Then it was part of Poland between the world wars, and as we know, this is the part of Western Ukraine which belonged to Soviet Union since Stalin's aggression, shared with Hitler in 1913. It was a very, very east of West Europe, if you wish. But it is seen through the eyes of the dog, and don't forget, the dog, Rudy, is from the capital city. He is a city dog going to the countryside where he doesn't know much. Dogs and others. I don't have to tell you twice. The town of Kolomyia is nice. Last but not the least of towns, it smells of bread and smells of cats. It smells of coffee freshly ground, dust and medicine and war. Here one hears all kinds of sounds. Crows are cawing, honking, doves are cooing, sparrows chirping, and the daily air raid siren. All the town of Kolomyia knows when the siren blares, every recover from the danger in the air. We all cheer for the all clear. There's a lot of us around, all the kinds of paws and tails from every place and every town. All the streets are nice and pretty. We walk around every day. Though I came from a big city, all the dogs are keen, I say. The town of Kolomyia is nice. We dream of victory for our guys, so that evil disappears, so that sirens would not blare, so we'd have just songs and laughter and no dogs from anywhere masters ever after. The next poem will be read by Katerina Shrey.
Rudy and
When-
the town of Kolomyia. I don't have to
No,
tell
no, no. The next. Sorry, the next one, Katerina. The second one.
Oh, goodness.
Look at the screen.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yes, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
My page
No,
flipped
look
back.
at-
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
I'm so sorry. Rudy, a Jack Russell Terrier, a migrant. My dimensions are rather small. I have a tail and a funny name. I'm a terrier. I can talk to them all. They don't listen to me all the same. So many sounds, smells, faces. Shelter is a good place to stay. There is just one thing we must learn. Do not panic at night or day. I can hear. They signaled all clear. The danger will pass, I see. I'm supporting my people here, and they are supporting me.
Thank you. The footnote says, written in Kolomyia, the night after the air alarm, second in a row. Third frame will be read by Larissa Sherey, daughter of our wonderful producer, Larry, Rudy, and the bomb shelter. Please, Larissa.
Rudy and the bomb shelter. It's not a cellar anymore. This was its name before the war. They were renamed not long ago. It's a shelter now, you know. For the people who are local and for every coming guest, they have brought down water bottles, benches, chairs to sit and rest. Though the place is strange and gloomy, we get used to it. We can, only if it weren't for tragic news from Bucha and Irpin. Everyone down here agrees. We are guests, not refugees. This is how we should be called. Even a hamster in a jar, even a cat who's on a leash. We got as many as 4 cats, and all the dogs and other pets.
Thank you. Rudy and TV will be read by our co-host, Professor Anara Tabashalieva. Please, Anara.
Thank you. And Rudy and TV. What can you say? It's Tel Aviv. Rudy lost his passion for TV. That's it now when there is war. But Rudy loved TV before. They got famously alone. There was really nothing wrong. Rudy loved all kinds of sports, music shows of all sports. Beauty contests and the beaches, and tasty sausage ads, of course. But all the channels have today just explosions, pain and blood. Soldiers' voices booming loud, fire and flash from every way. Rudy is for peaceful shows. He does not like the blood and gore, and the only way to bring peace is for us to win the war. After that, the long-awaited blue screen will light up again, bringing back the beauty contest and tasty sausage ads, of course. They will have all kinds of shows, sports events, museums, and travels, not just for dogs, for anyone, for every taste and peaceful fun.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Anna, and I will ask you to continue with Rudy and lunch.
Yes. The second one is Rudy and lunch. May it all be as it should, from the earth up to the sky. Rudy has been thinking about lunch since he woke up, not for himself. Somewhere, planes and flying, along with evil missiles. What do dogs there have to eat in Kharkov or Pusha? Did they run or did they hide in shelter or cellar? Are they used to war already? Are they still alive there? If Rudy could, he would run all night through all the fire and fog. He would bring some food to eat to every fellow dog. I trust all will be as it should, and one can only say, even Rudy's own small lunch, he'd gladly give away. So I think I like the last one, the Rudy and lunch.
Yes.
It's a hint for us,
Thank
those
you.
who in America, that we should share our lunch too.
Thank you very much, Anna, and continuing the dog important theme of food, Katerina, I will ask you to read Rudy and the Kolomyia fair. Country fairs, of course, existed for thousands of years, and it's a tribute to the resilience of people that in war times they still can talk and do these things. Please, Katerina.
Rudy and the Kolomyia fair. Mayhem, madness, milling, mulling crowds. Look around. Oh, what a wondrous thing. Sunny day, a market day so busy. Eyes wide open, tail like a string. Do not even mention the aromas. Your saliva runs, your breath is choked. Everyone debates. What is that smell? Mostly, though, the young who cannot tell. But the old ones who are wise and seasoned, not a sound don't you even ask. Here just a simple smell of wheat bran, there the enchanting scent of sausage. Shops and shops, enough for everyone. What a peaceful day, it has no limits. Kyivans, Irpinians, Pokutians, what a mayhem on a market day.
Thank you so much. I will read the next. Rudy and Company. Regarding dogs, relationships are clear. They wouldn't tear apart a stranger here. From time to time, it happens that they might, for native territories, get into a fight. However, once they sort those issues out, dogs make their peace with dignity, no doubt. And what of cats? Some ladies are so clever, they fit together, dogs and cats, that's nice. And all are happy, the entire lot. Here, tolerance deserves the highest marks. Just listen, no one growls and no one barks. They are all content, but Rudy is one who is not. About civilities, he doesn't care. He is not a Pekingese, he is a hunting dog. So there. The next poem, which gives the title to the book, will be read by Noelle Charret, the daughter of our wonderful producer, Larry Charret. Please, Noelle. Oops.
Rudy and the Milky Way. I lay down, stood up again, took a little walk. I recalled two wise old dogs having a serious talk. They conversed about old days, what people do and are. True or not, was said before, those who perish in a war turn into a star. Same is true of any dogs who were lost in fight, mongrel ones or fancy breeds, but they don't shine as bright. Not everyone can see those stars twinkling up in space, only people who loved their dogs in their earthly days. That is where the secret lies, known to dogs who are old and wise.
Some of us, when facing skies, always see a pitch dark night. Others see a road of light.
Thank you very much, Niall, for this beautiful reading. And I stopped sharing because we have an intermission. The author kindly shared with us a video, small clip from Ukraine, from the town of Kolomyia. And this is the reading in Ukrainian of the next poem, Rudy and the Sweetie Pie. And again, this is poem about author's great-granddaughter, Esther, who I believe is 3 years old now. And let me share the video of this YouTube video. 1 second. Tell me, as usual, if you will be able to see and hear it. Wait 1 second, please. Okay.
Я хочу поділитися з вами враженнями від книги мого улюбленого автора Григорія Фальковича «Руді і чумацький шлях». Це історія про маленького песика, який опинився в центрі великих змін. Через війну він переживає всі труднощі та радощі переїзду в нове місто. Книга проілюстрована талановитою Іриною Потапенко. Тільки подивіться, який він симпатичний. Цю зворушливу поетичну збірку можна читати і англійською мовою, адже є переклад книги. Зараз я прочитаю свій улюблений вірш з цієї книги, а саме Руді та Козюбонька. Уявіть собі, тривалий час Руді був наймолодшим у своїй сім'ї, отримував багато уваги та любові. Аж раптом в його житті з'являється маленька дівчинка. І Руді розмірковує, звідки і навіщо вона взялася, чому їй приділяють стільки уваги. Та врешті-решт починає її любити усім своїм сердечком. Руді і Козюбонька. Козюбонько, квітонько, дивні дівчачі слова. А ще ланцепутонька, хоч вибачайся на слові. Що сталося з ними? Подумаєш, лялька жива. А скільки уваги, а скільки до неї любові. А як же війна? Чи замало ще клопоту їм? Мабуть, на базарі її випадково купили. У нашій родині раніше був я головним. Раніше мене так плекали вони і любили. Але, як подумати, може вона й не дурна. І зовсім не лялька, а просто маленька людинка. А вдруге подумати, вийде, що саме вона, то майбутня моя господинька. Ні, зовні нічого. Ловкенька така, і не пісна, і плаче, і спить, і сміється вона бездоганно. Скарбиненько, сіронько, пташечко ти голосна. А що, як на мене, воно і звучить непогано.
Thank you very much. And I will ask now Larissa Sherry to read the English translation of the same poem, please.
Rudy and Sweetie Pie. Sweetie Pie, Honey Bun, girlish, incredible names. And then Chunky Monkey. Such words I'm embarrassed about. What's going on here? It's just like a doll that's alive. There's so much attention to her, so much love, no doubt. There's war going on, so isn't that trouble enough? And where did she come from? Picked up from a street market stall? They used to take care of me and to love me so much. Before, it was me who was at the center of it all. But then, come to think of it, maybe she is not so bad. Indeed, she's just a small person. She isn't a doll. And now I'm thinking again, what if she is the one who will be my mistress when she is no longer small? Well, yes, she is lovely, well fed, she is looking just fine. It's perfect the way she sleeps, and she laughs, and she cries. A treasure, a sunshine, a birdie whose voice is so loud. You know, I think all these names sound really nice.
Thank you very much. And I will now read the next. I will share the screen again from the book. 1 second. And here I'm showing the picture for this previous poem. The next one is Rudy, People and Gods. Kolomyia is a multicultural place. It has old Christian temples, both Orthodox and Catholic and Eastern. It has synagogues and probably even other faith temples. I'm not quite sure that Rudy is known well to the Buddha, to Jesus or Muhammad, or even to Jehovah. When on his leash he's walking with us in Kolomyia, he goes past all the temples, believing as he can. And if without worry, in juicy chops he favors. And people are gods to Rudy, and his angels of the earth. He sees those gods attending all temples of Kolomyia, a chapel by the roadside, a synagogue in silence, right from the depths of ages, and gods are meant for him. And what will happen further with the world, with them, with Rudy, he cannot comprehend. We reach the last poem of the book, and again, I will ask Niall Sherry to read us Rudy and a Night Flight.
Rudy and a Night Flight. Rudy dreamed that he could fly over villages and towns. He was flying in the sky with a flock of chattering birds. Where are you flying to? They ask. Warsaw, Paris, Prague, or Rome? Or to some unknown lands? No, he says, I'm flying home. In the city hit by shells, did my house survive and stand? Were they saved from bombs and rockets? Even cats in the neighborhood I would call my friends for good. If I find there calm and peace, I will fly back all the way, through all the storm and rain and thunder, and I know what I'll say. Though it's good to come and visit, let us go home today. Rudy sighed and yawned wide and went on flying through the night.
Thank you very much, Niall. This was the last poem in the book Rudy and the Milky Way. I will continue this slideshow for a few frames. The author and his dog, a few images from local festivals where book was featured. Few words from the author in English, which are included in the English translation. Let me just read few quotes from here. War challenges not only people but also domestic animals. They're remaining alone, defenseless in the occupied territory. Some are lucky they go with their owners to an unknown country. One of these lucky ones was our cute and social Russell Terrier named Rudy. Military aid moved him from the capital, Kyiv, to Kolomyia, an old and completely unlike Kyiv city in western Ukraine. Loud cars, sirens, bomb shelters, armed soldiers, excitement, anxiety for the fate of Ukrainians, all the housing, medical, and food problems all affected Rudy. As it turned out, due to the stress of the war, many of my fellow writers temporarily found themselves in a state of creative crisis. One can say that I was saved by our Jack Russell Terrier. He seemed to be looking for support. At the same time we got acquainted with the amazing city of Kolomyia. And in this book, Rudy, overheard by me and it into a more accessible language, are collected. And as a translator, I can add that I'm very grateful for the author for giving me this opportunity. I hope that this book will be known in both original Ukrainian and my humble translation to many more people. Deserves it. And our wonderful publisher, with whom we had several projects, Oleg Fedorov in Kyiv, published the English version. Again, I must mention, of course, Iryna Potapenko, who is Ukrainian artist and animator. She was living in Odessa, and now she is in Europe. And above all, I want to mention again Professor Leonid Rudnitsky, Katerina's father, for whom it was last and beloved project, not only of reviewing, but of consulting me on my non-native Ukrainian. Honestly, I admit that I know more English than Ukrainian. Thank you, Dr. Rudnitsky. Thank you, Professor Trent Lieberman, Professor Vysotska, who reviewed the English translation in Kyiv. And this concludes my part. And now I give microphone to Carol Smith if she's here. No? No.
I'm here.
So
Can you hear? Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yeah. Yes.
And
I
can,
hear
can
you.
you see me?
Please.
Okay.
Mm.
I was delighted and honored to be asked to review this book. I am not a literary person. I'm a professor of counseling, but I found these poems to be very moving. So here is my review in English. I hope Mr. Falkovych can understand enough. Hryhorii Falkovych has written an endearing, engaging, and compelling book for children that resonates deeply with adults. Written in the verse of 11 related poems and illustrated by the organic and sweeping artistry of Iryna Potapenko, Rudy and the Milky Way invites us into Rudy's migratory world, and by extension, the courage of his people caught up in the full-scale Russian war against Ukraine, which began in February of 2022. The poems speak to everyday experiences transformed into existential triumphs, given the context of war. The public spaces of his western host town, Kolomyia, to which Rudy fled with his family from the big city of Kyiv. It invites readers to the grim, gray, close protection of bomb shelters, along with an array of animal friends. The poetry speaks to the longing of television shows, the triumph of putting lunch on the table, and the dogs who are not so fortunate, the sense and visual delights of a community market, and meeting other cats and dogs and birds in the park. The poetry then explores, in deceptively innocent language, the existential challenges of life, especially life where tomorrow is not guaranteed, yielding attention to the arrival of a new baby, making spiritual sense of the senselessness of war, and a final dreamscape of a night flight to safety and peace. The poem's illustrations are simultaneously crisp and impressionistic, immediate and expansive. Likewise, the medium of poetry, so central to Ukrainian culture, is beautifully translated into English by Victor Fet. Fet manages not only to translate the content, but also the meter, rhythm, and syntax of the Ukrainian verse into English. He also conveys the paradoxical simplicity and complexity of the survival, courage, and hope of a Jack Russell Terrier and his people. Not only is this a beautiful work on its own, it would also serve as a therapeutic tool to help war and trauma affected and displaced youngsters relate to Rudy. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Carolyn. Before I conclude, I want to read a couple of more lines from the reviewers on the other side, from the Ukrainian friends and colleagues of the author. Natalia Marchenko, library literary researcher and writer, wrote in Ukrainian. This is translation. A surprisingly elegant and picturesque publication, realistic mood drawing of Iryna Potapenko created a complete artistic world. Falkovych's poems, transparent, wise, full of trust in the world, tell the story of a migrant dog, but also testify to the eternal beauty and goodness of God's world, in which everything must be fixed and get better. In 2023, this little book about a dog life awakened in me almost the most human feelings and faith in the humanization of the world. And I will conclude by a quote from Svetlana Roy's well-known psychologist, which is from her book, How to Talk with Children About War and Peace. This very tender and sensual collection of poetry gently guides you through the experience and emotions of children and adults who experienced and are experiencing the war, leads to outside memories and hopes. There is no sense of tragedy in the book, but sadness, tenderness, and peace. Thank you very much to everyone, and we have time. I can open the microphone to the questions and comments.
I have a quick comment. I've seen many people receive this book for the first time. Я бачу часто перший раз, як людина підносить цю книжку. And almost every single person, they immediately get absorbed into it. І кожна особа відразу вступає в цю книжку. And they start reading it and they page through it and they look back and they call people over to share the book. І вони читають і відразу покликають знайомих подивитися на книжку. Every one of those people, when they get to that line, when Rudy says, I'm flying home, cries. Every single person I've seen read this book. Кожна особа, що читає цю книжку, як вони дістаються до цієї лінії, я лечу додому, я не знаю, як це по-українськи, I'm flying home, розплакуєшся. Кожна людина, що я бачу, це читає. This book is so incredibly moving and powerful. There's a large Ukrainian community in Philadelphia, and they are so grateful for this book. Є велика громада українців у Філадельфії, вони дуже вдячні за цю книжку. But they love the book. They immediately order the Ukrainian, and then they give this or buy additional copies for their American friends. Вони відразу замовляють українську копію, а передають англійську копію сусідам, товаришам, купують додаткові копії цієї книжки. This book has brought so much healing to the Ukrainians in Philadelphia who mourn the tragic events in Ukraine. Ця книжка принесла дуже багато зцілення до українців у Філадельфії, які журячи переживають, що стається в Україні. And we're also so grateful to Hryhorii Falkovych and to Victor Fet and to the illustrator for making this possible. І ми всі дуже вдячні авторові, перекладачеві і ілюстраторі, що ця книжка існує. Дуже вам дякую. Thank you very much.
Дякуємо. Thank you so much. I have a question from Dr. Len Deutsch, please.
Hi, Katerina suggests that there's a lot of interest in Philadelphia, or in this book, which suggests that the logistics are in place to transport the book from Ukraine here. And I just wonder if anybody knows what percentage of bookstores remain open in Ukraine. Are they accessible to people during time of war, people buying books? Is it a priority even given all of the other problems that they're having and just securing the necessities of life? Not that literature is not among those necessities, but I'm just wondering if anybody has any insights into what's going on in bookstores.
I can say a few words, and then Katerina can ask the author directly about this book. But I can say that our publisher, who published this translation in Kyiv, publishes a book every day, both in Ukrainian and Russian. Of course, they publish in Ukrainian. These books are sold online. Everything works. And the life is very, very much vibrant, and books are appreciated. Many times I was told this. I published my own 4 books of poetry in last 2 years with the same publisher. We collected 3 anthologies of Russian language anti-war poetry. And those are extremely highly appreciated. Books are still the medium, both paper and electronic. But Katerina, please ask the author about specifically this book and this. We're interested in Ukrainian version, of course.
Пане Фалькович, питання від декана Leonard Deutsch, він декан Marshall University на емературі вже. Він питається, чи під час часи війни, як так багато інших речей діються і так багато потреби є в інших ділянках життя, чи люди купують книжки, чи люди ще мають доступ купувати книжки, чи крамниці, що продають книжки, ще відчинені, ще існують.
Микрофон.
Ну, далі.
Так.
Ще не чуємо.
Так нормально, так?
Так, добре, тепер добре.
От. Сталося таке диво, що під час війни значно збільшилась кількість книжок.
The curious thing happened that during this time of war, destroyed were many books.
Сталося так, що росіяни знищили найкрупніший наш поліграфічний центр у Харкові.
The Russians destroyed and Victor, I need help here. What kind of center in Kharkiv? The Russians destroyed?
Polygraphic Institute.
Holographic Institute in Kharkiv.
Polygraphic.
Поліграфія, так. І на певний час пригальмувався випуск книжок.
And for a certain time, the production of books was stopped.
Але кількість авторів значно збільшилась.
But the number of authors, in fact, has increased.
Особливо активно зараз публікуються твори військових письменників-поетів, які служать в армії, які воюють на фронті.
Especially right now, we see an increase of poets from the front, poets who are soldiers writing about their experience.
Місяць тому назад у Львові відбувся перший міжнародний фестиваль «Земля поетів».
A month ago, the first international gathering of poets took place.
Так що, якщо можуть бути сумніви щодо перебігу військових подій, то щодо розвитку української літератури і культури немає жодних сумнівів. Все буде окей.
So, if there's any question or any concern about the continuation of poetry, the ongoing literary ongoing, the ongoing Ukrainian literature sustaining itself, there is no question about that. Everything will be okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Len. Дякую. We might have some more questions, inquiries, comments. I greatly thank author for staying with us. Carol, please.
Victor, is there a way of saying one word, or is our time up?
No. We can
But
continue as much as we want. Carol Smith, please. Dr. Lieberman, I didn't hear you. Yes, of course, there is a way. Let me microphone to Anatoly, please, first. This is Dr. Lieberman joining from Minneapolis. He is a great friend of myself and our program, and one of the reviewers of the translation. Please, Anatoly.
Yes, I wanted to congratulate the author and the translator, both of whom I have seen Victor many times, but I have never seen the author, and I'm very happy to be able to see him now. And I say that this is a great book, not only because the poetry is beautiful, and I've read some of the poems in the Ukrainian original and liked it very much, and then as a reviewer, I read the entire book in English. And one day, long ago, Victor and I thought that we would have a series of conversations about how we grow up and how sweet memories of our children's books remain. This is one of the books which children will probably read for many years and will live with those memories, because this book combines everything one should wish for. The beautiful makeup, wonderful illustrations, and of course, first and foremost, excellent poetry and Victor's masterful translation. So I simply wanted to add a few words of congratulation to those who have spoken before me. And I'm very happy the book is out. I'm very happy that the book is being bought, and I hope that it has a great future, one of the best, probably best beloved books by Ukrainian and, let us hope, English-speaking children. Thank you, Victor. That's really all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lieberman. We highly appreciate you joining, and I would say it's an extraordinary event, from many perspectives, not even mentioning that this was my first experiment of Ukrainian translation into English poetry. Thank you. Carol, you had a question, please, or comment?
yes, thank you so
Yes.
much. I'm so relieved to hear that the literary and poetic landscape in Ukraine is alive and well. I am not a Ukrainian expert at all. I have come to this vodcast to learn about Ukraine. I am a Native American. I speak English only. I have learned so much from this vodcast. And one of the things that I've learned is that the Ukrainian language has been under attack for a very, very long time, well over 100 years, trying to snuff it out. And I am so glad to hear that the literary world and the literary scene in Ukraine is not only alive, but thriving.
Thank you, Carol. I think this is overwhelming, and as we come to the end of our hour, I will ask the author to say a couple of final words, and Katerina to translate and conclude. Please, Hryhorii.
Що, Григорій, що від нього? Я не зрозумів.
Він просить, запрошує вас сказати кілька слів на закриття програми. Що-небудь, чим ви хотіли поділитися. А я буду пробувати якнайліпше перекладати. Віктор дуже добре перекладає, а для мене це тяжче.
Ну, по-перше, я ніколи не вчив англійської мови.
First of all, I've never studied the English language.
Так. А тут я зараз збагнув таку думку: якщо ти хочеш зрозуміти свою поезію, треба слухати її англійською мовою.
And now I've just had this thought. If you would like to understand your own poetry, you should hear it in English.
Мені сподобалося.
I enjoyed it. This was good.
Мені сподобалися ваші мудрі ваші людяні, ваші мирні обличчя.
Oh, I like your human, your wise, your sweet faces.
І якщо, скажімо, коли я чув вірші в перекладі, я не відчував жодного дискомфорту. Але мені хотілося б знати і розуміти, про що говорили ви, коли обговорювали, я так думаю, цю книжку, переклади, може, автора, взагалі ситуацію. Це було дуже-дуже цікаво. І я б хотів, щоб квінтесенція ваших тих роздумів якось була доступна українському читачеві.
I was very comfortable hearing you read the poems, hearing you talk, but I was not able to understand what you were saying, and I think it would be really beneficial to have the discussion about this book be accessible to Ukrainian speakers.
And
Адже
this is something we can do, yes.
я
Ми це
продовжу.
можемо зробити, так, це можливо.
Дякую. Адже така взаємодія, така увага до проблем наших українських,
This attention to our problems in Ukraine,
не лише військових, не
not
лише
just
медичних,
military, not just medical,
але саме до таких культурних, увага до ознак мирного життя. Бо література – це є ознака мирного життя, дитяча література.
the attention to the culture, the attention to literature, the attention to these other aspects of life.
Будемо спілкуватися і не забувати, що головне – це жити в мирі. І не втрачаємо це відчуття, це обрій мирного життя. Для України це важливо.
We will work together. We will remember that the most important thing is to live in peace, is to live in peace. Повторіть, будь ласка, останню частину і що при кінці ви сказали?
Що Україні важливо під час війни не втрачати орієнтири і обрій мирного життя. Що норма – це мир, а не війна.
Yeah, it's important that in Ukraine during this time of war, we don't lose sight of the fact that peace is normal, that peace is normal, that this is the normal things in life.
Бо іноді тема війни, тема ненависті до ворога стає головною, а це актуально сьогодні, актуально для воїнів, але ми маємо виховувати людину нормальну, орієнтовану на мирне людське життя.
Attention to hatred of the enemy. That this cannot be all. We have this obligation to raise the next generation with more than this. That's a bad paraphrase on my part, but that's the essence.
Дякую, дорогі друзі. Бажаю вам успіху в приватному вашому особистому житті. Бажаю успіху вашому проєкту чудовому. І бажаю Україні перемоги. Дякую.
Thank
Слава
you so
Україні.
much. Героям слава. Thank you so much, my friends. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. I wish you all the best in your personal life, and wish for victory for Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine.
Слава Україні.
Heroim slava.
Героям слава.
І американським героям слава.
And
Вам,
also to the American heroes, let there be glory.
вам так, ви наші герої теж.